Alright, we're going to go ahead and dimension this new drawing using our dimensioning flowchart. And so the first thing we need to do is create our multi-view sketch. Done. Alright, one thing we should also probably add in is our annotations here. So making sure that we put our center mark, I'm going to do stuff in red just so it stands out a little bit better, but making sure that we put our center mark on our circle here. There's our center mark, and making sure that where the hole goes through here we have a center mark or center line, and over here in this view we also have our center line where that hole goes through the object. Okay, so I believe that should be it. Hopefully all the hidden lines are already drawn in for us. That's wonderful. Alright, so we're good there. So now we need to count the number of features. That's the next thing in on our flowchart. So let's go back over here for a second. So we need to count the number of features we have here. So the notch again is one feature, the hole is another, and the overall block is our third feature. So let's start with the first feature again, is the notch. And I'm going to do a little bit differently, because if I'm going to be measuring this and cutting away material, if I was to use a saw, I would actually start from a corner where there will be material left. So if I was to measure in for this notch, I'd measure how far it is in from, say, this corner over here. And so for the dimensioning purposes, though, to figure out what we need to dimension this to, we should go down here and look. The scale is 1 inch for 2 blocks, so half an inch per space on this grid. So this one happens to be 1 inch, so we can write that down. And then how far up is it from this edge when I'm going to make that cut. This is my personal preference. If you want to do it the other way, that's fine too. Okay, so this would be 1 inch up here. All right, now we've got the notch dimension that way, but we also don't need or want to forget, we need to know how wide that notch is. Okay, and so that's 1 inch wide. I'm trying to make it so my extension lines don't touch the object. I think I messed up a little bit over here. If I want to get really picky, I'll go back and erase out that. All right, so we've done the notch. We've got all the size, location, all that good stuff taken care of. So next up on our list is to take care of that hole. Okay, so the best view to dimension the hole would be this one where I can see its circular shape. Okay, can't do it up here because of the hidden lines, and I can't do it in the right side view because, again, we have hidden lines. So going back to that front view, now we can start dimensioning it. Now one thing, sorry I didn't mention this earlier, but smaller dimensions have to go in closer to the object. Okay, so in this case, the smaller dimension would be the distance from this corner up to where that hole starts. Now, if I draw these arrows inside, I don't have any room for the dimension. So we're going to do a little trickiness here. And we're going to draw the arrows outside, pointing in. And that's one. Actually, whoop, that's 1/2. All right, nailed it. And if I want to, I can move this guy back over. I cheat a little bit. It's okay. The beauty of using your iPad. And I'll bring this guy back in the rest of the way there. Okay, so that's one of the location measurements I need for the hole. It tells me how far up from the bottom. The second is I need to know how far it is in from the side. And so I'm going to do it from over here. I'm going to measure in. How far in do I need to go? I might have to fix that now that I see what I did. Erase this out some. How far in do I need to go from that outer edge to get to that hole? That's 4 spaces, so that would be 2 inches. So there's my second location mark. So I'm going to go in 2 inches from the top or the back edge and 1/2 inch up from the bottom. And I need one more number on there. I need to know how big to make that hole. And that is, from looking at it, 1 space width, so that'd be a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to bring it down here. This is our leader line. Okay, leader line should not come directly off vertically or horizontally. It should always come off an object at an angle. So see how I'm coming off at an angle here, and then I can bring it over horizontally or vertically and write the number. So this would be, oh, I'm missing a symbol. This would be a diameter, because we're talking about the whole circle, of 1/2. All right, so now we have the size and location of the circle, and the last thing that we need is to talk about the last feature, which is the overall block. So we need to know, oh, I actually know what we forgot. Forgot to do the depth of the hole, which is actually already over here, 1. And do I need to do, it's also the depth, so I think we're good there. All right, and then the last thing is to do these larger blocks dimensions here. So we've got the overall block, which is 3 inches. And the overall height, which we could do over here just so we don't have too much going on in one view. That's fine. Which is 1 1/2 inch. All right, now, one thing they told us was make sure we're down here at, which step are we down here at? We dimension every feature finally. So now dimension overall object. I just double checked it. That's good. Does every view have 1 or more dimensions? That is a no. So we're going to go over here and we're going to delete out that view that does not have a dimension. And my way of deleting it is going to be putting a giant X over it. Normally, you could just delete it out when we do this digitally. All right, so that should be well enough dimension. All right,